everyone. Music still seems loud as it is. If that's just me, oh, I'm playing in the background. I am Super Fizz from the ETH Staker community, and oh, I was just rocking out to that that background music. It's pretty awesome stuff. I'm here today on a Saturday with a kind of an exciting event. I'm here with my good buddy Michael, who's doing our engineering, and Logic Beach. How's it going, Logic Beach?
Going well.
Going well. He's lying. He's nervous, but we're gonna calm him down. We're gonna chill through this for probably the next 45 minutes. We're just gonna hang out, and so why are we here? Logic Beach is a guy who I've known for a while, and in all of the time that I've known him, he has worked to better the community through like either doing like he's created these voiceover videos, or he's creating art, or he's teaching someone how to do something, or just really reaching out to people and making the community a better place. Oh, and that's what's that that project called? Make the World a Better Place?
Yeah, my platform is Make the World a Better Place.eth. Yeah.
So he's also an extremely talented artist. And puzzles. We didn't even talk about the puzzles. We're going to get there. And he kind of came up with this idea of creating NFTs out of some of his art. And so I sort of pushed him to develop that into something that could be about a year of income, so that he can sell those NFTs, give people the art that they love, and he can support himself for a while producing the great things that he produces. Is that about right?
Yeah, absolutely. I thank you for the intro. I think you said everything exactly correct.
Cool. Yeah. So tell me the art. Well, and I want to back up a minute. I got to say some stuff. 40 pieces. They're gonna 20 of them on Opensea, 20 of them on a custom site that you've developed. 3 of them have gone on auction. Mm-hmm. I was able to purchase 2 of them. One of them I didn't purchase for myself. I purchased on behalf of someone else who was chatting me. So one of them I was able to keep, and one of them was not mine to keep. But aside from that, I am getting dibs on buying one, and Michael, for his help, is also getting dibs on buying one. Is that about fair? But the rest of them are all up for dibs in about 30 minutes, right?
That is right. At exactly 3 p.m. CDT, which is 20 UTC, I will click a button and a link will appear on my website, which is LogicBeach.xyz. So yeah, in my mind, this call is going to be pretty informal. I wanted to go through and talk about some of my inspiration, and I just kind of want to show you guys like where these robots started. Maybe I'll just get right into that. Can I screen share?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you would have that.
Enable it. Yep.
Sorry. I'll make both of you co-hosts.
And for those of you watching on the live stream, links to all of Logic Beach's resources are in the video description. So specifically, we just mentioned the Make World a Better Place.eth, that Twitter account, Logic's personal Twitter account, and the links to the Opensea account are all in the video description.
Dude, you just got the best compliment. He a crackhead when doing music. I think that's a compliment.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the better ones I've ever heard.
Oh, dude, you got a presentation.
Yeah, I do. I pulled up a bunch of art that like sort of tells a story of like how I got to where I am today. So I wish I had ordered it, but this is gonna be more fun unordered. All right, so in about 2016-ish, I was living in this dungeon apartment, and I was dumpster diving a lot, and I was like a college student, like, you know, you can imagine that sort of scenario. I started upcycling stuff. So you see like a TV from like the, I guess these are like 80s TVs, and the boombox from the 80s. I started just making them work again and circuit bending them to do different things. And we had a really hot spot in Nashville. There's something they call it they don't do it anymore because of COVID, but the art crawl, and we had a spot right in the center of that. So it was so much fun to just pull things out of the trash, turn it into something, and then people would buy it sometimes. I sold that TV right there, the big one. I still have my boombox. I'm not letting that go. So yeah, here's just another TV picture. In 2016, I drew this robot. It's not, okay, so it's like, I'm not gonna try to qualify it at all. This was the first time I drew a robot. And there was a wide gap till the next time I drew the robot. I tried to recreate this exact image recently, and I did, and sold that painting to actually a pretty good friend of mine. That's actually in this presentation too. We'll get to that later. I'm going to briefly pass over this.
Before you go,
okay, go ahead.
Because it's your stuff, I know it's difficult for you to appreciate it, but if you go back to the robot working on the motherboard, to me, that is like, that's art porn. Like that turns me on so much. I know I don't care who's viewing. I'm obsessed with your art. I love the idea of a robot working on electronics, and especially the ones where they're like working on themselves.
Who's not working on themselves, right? And it's always been like a thing in my mind. I've always been working on myself, like mentally and physically. So like a robot just being able to do it manually with tools, like right then and there, just always sort of blew my mind. And you can see in this picture, the story behind it is he accidentally pulled the processor out while he's running. He's trying to upgrade his processor, and he's been there for 100 years. One of my hugest inspirations was a small company out of the Czech Republic called Imitative Design. I discovered some of their art back in 2013. There's a game they made called Machinarium. That's actually the main character. I graffiti drew this on a wall at a music venue, but that guy, it had a huge impact on me. And it's, what is it now, 11 or 10 years later? 9 years later, sorry, math is hard. It's still on my mind. Robots have infected me. So in 2019, I had a job in IT in an engineering department. So there's a lot of downtime. Engineering department, you can imagine. Those people know how to work on computers. They rarely called me. So I drew this guy on a sticky note. It's about yay big. And I drew his body, and I was like, that's a robot body. Like, I hadn't really gotten into that yet. And it sort of took off from there. This is sort of derivative. That's Yosef from Machinarium, but in my own style. And I started playing with that more and more. And I think I want to show you the earliest version of what is now called Complex One right here on a sticky note, sitting at my desk. That's him pointing at a Frank Zappa and the Mother's Quote. It's a really good song. But I was sitting there like kind of depressed about my job. I didn't want to be there at a desk all day. So I was like, you would do as you were told until the rights to you are sold. So that's the first version of Complex One. And from then it sort of took off. I started drawing more and more robots, and just like this gritty, grungy dungeon, this nasty, just throw it together, put some water on it, smear it, that kind of stuff. I started to get, I don't know, over time, I feel like my drawings have become more corporate, more clean, and less like as gritty as I am mentally, I guess. I guess I'll just show you some of these. I'll flip past these. They're not robots, but this is some stuff that has existed. This is a recurring dream where I fly into power lines all the time. I don't know. Does anybody else dream that they float into power lines? Happens to me once a week at least.
I love that you've captured that dream so well. Like I have so much difficulty like conveying dream states, and that seems that's so
always
real.
In my dream, I realized, wait, I can grab this power line. I'm floating. It's like a bird. I can push myself off of it. But what always ends up happening is I touch one, and I'm swinging towards another one. I'm like, no.
Have you experimented with lucid dreaming ever?
Yeah, I have.
I would say that it would be a fun trip to have that dream lucidly and try to understand it better. But,
my dad told me he has the same dream, and it blew my mind. This was one of my favorite paintings. Everyone loved this at the art gallery. I actually sold this one. It was one of the first paintings I ever sold. It's a dead fox laying on some fall leaves. People love it.
While we're there, can you go to the upper left of that image?
Okay, yeah.
How much is on that drive?
25,000 Bitcoin. I fried that hard drive. I learned the lesson that you can't use any cable from any power supply to power a hard drive one day, and I fried that hard drive. There's no Bitcoin on it.
I was about to say, if there is.
When I threw it to I knew it was going to go to the dump, or someone was going to see that and be like, holy shit. Yeah.
That's evil.
Yeah. Here's another shot of a later art gallery setup that we did. And, even back in 2016, I was still into Bitcoin. Fuck banks, use Bitcoin. I sold that to
I remember that. You were at your brother's art show.
Because if you knew me then, it must have been a little later.
Yeah. When did we meet?
20.
I was giving away a keyboard. I was giving away a keyboard on Reddit.
You
Local
gave me
Reddit.
a PC case. Yeah, I met Superfizz on Reddit. He doxed me and figured out all the stuff I love. He showed up and gave me all this cool stuff. Well,
I was like, well, no, because was it a keyboard that what was the first thing I gave you, or the case
it
you
was
said?
a mini ITX PC case.
Okay, so I give local away things in our local Reddit just because it's how I roll. And when I met him, I was very intrigued. He's a really sharp kid. He's not a kid now, but he was a sharp
like
kid then. You were a college student. And so I really I wanted to connect and enable you. And so I'm like giving you all this crap to sort of enable your pursuits.
Yeah, you found out that I was into crypto, and I think that is sort of what got me where I am today. That simple observation, you're like, wait, so you're into like cryptocurrency? You're like, I have a group you might be interested in. I was like, all right, yeah, whatever, we'll see. I was into EOS. The only reason I had ETH.
Bro, you said the word.
EOS.
All right, cut the stream. We're out.
You had one rule.
I'm better now. I'm cured. So after all that, once I really, in my mind, figured out that I wanted to draw robots, I drew him. This is Vox Humana. This is like the earliest rendition of a robot that I actually took very seriously and was so meticulous and just to get it just right. I was on a sticky note sitting in my office one day, and after that, I was like, that's my character. LogicBeach is the universe. This is Vox Humana. He was the first one. And it sort of exploded from there. Complex one I draw all the time. It's just like in my mind. I draw them on people's dust on their cars. Like it's just everywhere. It's like my tag, I guess. I just have to mention this because Atomo is a character from the Iron Giant. He's only briefly mentioned. He's the bad guy in a comic. And they flashed this picture of him. This is Atomo. And that had a huge influence on me as well. He doesn't look exactly like that. That's sort of my interpretation.
What about it snagged you?
Well, anybody that's seen the Iron Giant knows that movie is fantastic. It it didn't do so great on launch, but it is amazing. I don't know what really gets me about Atomo. He's just evil and he's a giant robot, just ruining stuff, blowing stuff up. It fuels that part of me that's like an angsty teenager that, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess I do a lot more organic stuff too, but some early C1 art. This is probably the first time I actually used the cylindrical head in a robot. I've actually animated this. If you've seen any of my music videos, you've seen this before. I didn't call him C1 back then. I didn't really have a name for it. Actually, and I want to say Complex One is actually the name of a modular synthesizer that I use all the time. It's actually built into a program that I use called Propeller Head Reason, which is a digital audio workstation or a DAW, like Pro Tools or GarageBand.
Okay, yeah. I'm just here rocking out that Complex is enjoying nature. Like that's the kind of I don't know if you call it a juxtaposition, but like he should have no feeling, but he's enjoying nature. That is how it connects with me.
There's a little bit of a story behind this picture, and I don't know how he got to falling, but he fell into the forest, landed there, and he's just been sort of in the music video. You see him land on the ground, and then you see what he sees. It's trees just moving in the wind, and yeah, juxtaposition is probably a good word for it. On my music page, it's something like a lot of my art focuses around how technology and nature go together, or rather how they do not, that kind of thing. Yeah.
So many themes. I'm like, he's defeated by nature. I didn't realize he had fallen from the tree. I didn't know he was injured, but defeated by nature and staring up and seeing that, like, the power of nature, the leaves blowing in the wind. And he's just like, I'm here and I'm wrecked. I don't know. I just enjoy it.
In this whole universe, all that's left is robots, because humans turned inward and uploaded their minds to, I think, it's actually heavily based on the book Logic Beach. It's a book. I forgot to mention that. That is where I take my namesake from, which is a book about humanity uploading their minds to I think they call it the Ethereum. I should have looked that up before this call, but I don't know.
It's all coming together.
Yeah. So yeah, all that's left is robots. There's a huge solar flare, so there's not that many robots left, and they're just sort of roaming the earth and enjoying it. They don't have jobs anymore because the humans are they uploaded, they're gone. So yeah, that's sort of the universe. It's become more and more fleshed out over time. I don't know exactly where it's going to go, but I have some fun ideas. The cylindrical head, I wanted to mention this. had to be that way because we got a acetylene torch and we were going to start building these robots in the woods, like out in the forest, out of metal, as permanent art installations. And actually, he's holding a dandelion because we had planned on making his hand dirt, a thing that could hold dirt and hold a plant in the woods just forever, as long as that metal would last. We didn't do that. The acetylene torch broke the day that we tried to use it. It's on the back burner. One day when I own it, I'm going to do it.
Who is we?
Me and my older brother.
Okay.
I come from a big family, but one of my older brothers, he was the one that helped set the art gallery up and stuff.
I want that to happen now. Like it's gonna happen. It's gonna be my next passion. All right.
Here's just a quick shot of like sort of that universe. This was one of the earlier ones, somewhere in my book. I don't want to pull it out because there's a lot of. It's very sensitive. You may recognize this from the end of my first puzzle, actually. I'm just going through some older stuff, some of the animation presets. And if you just saw my Austin Griffith robot dancing, this is the, what do you call it? The sprites that went into creating that last night.
Dude, that was so awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to make that last minute. It turned out really well.
Definitely recognize this one.
Yeah, I actually have this as a, what do you call that? A screen print, so I can make shirts with it. But I didn't really produce many of them. If you guys, both of you probably recognized, I have posted a picture of the boat that's actually called Donna K that is sunk, and I did my music video on it and stuff. It had a huge impact on the name Logic Beach as well. This is, how do I describe this? This is sort of the first time I ever drew C1 in this much detail. The first one was him pointing at the text from the Frank Zappa quote. This is the very next drawing of C1, where I actually got to experiment with like what the segmented body was, like how it worked and everything, and like how it could bend and stuff. So that was, yeah, this one was sort of a pivotal moment when I realized that I can animate this. I can make this a skeleton in After Effects and, do whatever.
So I want to cut in for a minute. So right now, Logic Beach is going over his art history, which I'm absolutely in love with. We're going to open up the NFT sale at LogicBeach.xyz in about 13 minutes. You can still bid on that art on a separate universe of the same, actually mirrored of the same images right now on Opensea. And I think you said those are going to close. Maybe we'll close them as we end the call today. Does that sound fair?
Close the Opensea bids? Or
yes.
They're not really bids, you just make offers. Yeah.
Well, offers are bids, really, I guess. But yeah, they're not technically auctions.
I just want to say there is a human at the helm, so like I can accept them as fast as I can, Yeah,
there needs to be some kind of terminus to it.
Yes.
And I know we hadn't really figured that out. And so also in the next few minutes, we're going to be talking about the POAP for listening to this call. If you can zoom in, I don't know, we're gonna do that. We'll wait.
I'll get out of my screen share in just two more.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to make sure that people know where we're at in the chat. That is one of my favorites.
Yeah. This picture is one of the biggest ones I've ever done. It's very hard to scale up when you do stuff on, stuff like this size most of the time. So yeah, that one was really fun. I sold this to a good friend of mine, sort of in my hometown. I hope he has it hung up. He said he was going to get it framed.
So I've noticed with most of these pieces, they seem to be like the same, like medium, like you're using the same types of, is it like pen art or is it like a felt tip or what's the actual application?
My pen of choice is the Uniball Eco. It is the very fine point, but it's also a ball point, meaning the felt tip doesn't break off because it's a ball point. Powerful pen. Can't suggest this more. This is actually sponsored by Uniball Eco. I bought a whole box of them. This pen I found in a dungeon. It's probably from the 60s or 70s. I love this pencil. That's it.
Do you find it to be more comfortable like making art in this capacity, or like how does when you're making pieces like this contrast to when you're making like the video and animated pieces? Like how do those kind of drive each other?
Oh my God. I was just thinking that when I was working on this POAP today, that when I fucked up a little bit, I couldn't just hit back. It's funny, in my mind, I was like, because I work on my iPad sometimes, and I went to hit back. I was like, oh, this is physical. This is real. So there's definitely a disconnect. When I'm working digitally, I'm a lot more free and I do it more quickly, very fast. When it's paper, I do it in pencil with like a rough outline, then I do it a little closer, and then I do the pen very carefully. I mean, it's still very gritty. It's grungy. That's my gig, you know, that's who I am. I think that should answer that. I think that answers your question, doesn't it?
No, yeah, absolutely. I was always just curious because they seem like such specific and different skill sets. Like I wouldn't necessarily think that someone that has this type of like talent for hand illustrations to also be able to take those and quite literally breathe life into them and animate them into video.
I wish that I had brought some animations that go watch the music videos. You don't have to like them or share or subscribe or anything, but go watch the music videos. I did a lot of work on that animation.
People who draw electronics never get it right, and it aggravates me. And so it's nice to see like functional electronics. Like, yeah. I know what those capacitors do.
I sort of just like had a picture of my motherboard pulled out, and that's how that works.
Well, like if you don't know, if you've never really looked at that stuff, you don't know what's important and what's a superfluous detail. So
you see
you're just like
battery.
Yes, like you're drawing the right things.
Yeah, I don't know what this is. That's some futuristic robot stuff. I don't know.
Well, that's going to be a cooling fin.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, you can see the processor here has no heat sink on it. You can see where the paste was.
Yeah.
I don't know. Actually, I do know. I don't know is my verbal crutch. So if you hear me say that, it's not true. I do know.
That's some deep introspection.
I mean, my brother laughed about that.
Is that like 6 years of therapy to get that?
Yeah. I'm glad you asked. All right, so that's probably it. Unless you guys have specific questions about the history of the art. It's been a journey. It's really fun because right now what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling in my mind is like years and years of like effort and interest, just like coming to a point where I can finally share this in such a way that the audience is bigger than ever. Even when I was at these galleries and you'd have hundreds of people walk through, it didn't feel as fun or as personal as this does. I don't know. The interaction I've had online is so much more less rehearsed than people coming to an art gallery. There's like a certain, I don't know, vibe that you get there that you don't get online.
Well, that's I also, you bring value to the communities. Like you're well regarded as Logic Beach because you're doing things that promote value in the community. Like there are so many people who are just value extractors, and I don't really align with those people. But when I connect with people who are like, hey, I just want to help, I just want to make things better, I just want to build things with the community, and that's why Michael and I connect. It's why you and I connect. It's why I love the ETH Staker group, because they're like, we just want to do good things, and sometimes you need to get paid to do that, and in my mind, this is a great way to promote you as a community citizen by hopefully unloading a few of these NFTs, giving value to the community through NFTs, and supporting your work, doing community good for the next year or so. So I'm optimistic.
I do want to say I have some really fun things planned. Anybody that it's an advertisement, not promotion. Promotion is a better word. Anybody that holds these is not going to be disappointed. I have fun things planned. I'll leave it at that. Like, I don't want to let too much out, but there are things written down that are going to be cool.
I definitely told Logic Beach, don't overpromise, overgive, because I don't want him to be in this thing where like you're buying an NFT and thinking, ooh, I'm going to cash in on this all year long. It's so much better for you to just buy this NFT and then receive value added on top of that, because then you're getting more than you thought you were getting. It's so much better than hoping you're going to get something that somehow doesn't materialize.
But by all means, though, if you mint one of these at 0.25, flip it for one, and then that guy that bought it from you gets all this fun stuff I'm going to do. I don't care. Do what you will.
Okay. As a dude who cannot value NFTs, I am not selling mine for less than 10. I don't care. Like, it's funny. Like, I'm
with you. I'm with you on that all the way.
I have developed this idea of, I love your mug. What is that? What are you drinking?
Some NFT.
It's hilarious. Where'd you get that?
Well, I don't want to turn this around because then it'll dox me.
Okay.
I drew this on here with some paint marker.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool.
This mug came from my old job.
So if you if you know Superfizz at all, you know that I openly, I don't get NFT value. Like NFT value does not make sense to me. And so what I've learned to do is ask myself what I'm willing to let something go for. And that's kind of like how I value my NFTs. And so if you look at my stupid collection, everything is, 32 ETH, because to me that's essentially the magic price that I would let those things go for. Yeah, your art is so valuable to me that it's I'm willing to hold it for a long time.
Warn me if we have 5 minutes before I need to press the button. So if we get right up in there, like definitely let me know.
Do you want to drop the POAP?
Oh yeah. If you guys, I'll have to talk loud so I'm the one that shows up, but this right here is the secret words, the secret phrase for the POAP claim. If you can't see it, it says what does it say? LogicBots love you. LogicBots love you.
And to claim that, you'll need to use the POAP app on your phone and enter the secret word, all lowercase, no spaces. And so that's kind of a way to keep it fair. We know a lot of people are running BlueStacks and claiming 68,000 of these, but
don't do it.
We still try to keep it as fair as possible.
These POAPs aren't worth anything. Come on.
Dude, you just drew that, right? You drew it a few minutes ago, a few hours ago. No, the POAP for this call.
Oh yeah, I definitely drew this morning.
So awesome.
And as I drew this, I realized that I was definitely going to have a cup full of NFT during this call. I think actually my wife came up. Well, okay, so people in the Rocket Pool Discord, I was like, hey, I'm making a POAP for this. I'm going to drop my hand. If you guys want to be involved, like, do you have any ideas? And someone mentioned something like that.
Yeah. So just to circle around in about 3 minutes. So right now you can go to Opensea, and what's the easiest way to search for that? Search for LogicBeach or
LogicBots. Actually, yeah, LogicBeach is probably the best way.
Can we put a link to that in the YouTube? But yeah, so right now you can go there, and for about the next probably 20 or 30 minutes as this call is going on, you'll be able to make bids on those. LogicBeach will reserve the right after 3 o'clock to accept any bids that he chooses to accept. But the real snag is it's not a snag because that's negative. The real catch is going to LogicBeach.xyz. In 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes, he's going to push an update to that site that's going to allow you to mint the NFTs directly. You'll probably know minting is not necessarily cheap, but they're still valuable NFTs. All 20 pieces are going to be available, and they are all 0.25 Ether.
19 actually, because when I deployed this to mainnet, I had to make sure it worked, so I bought one of my own NFTs. It's not my character.
You get to keep one.
I bought one. Okay, I paid for this.
Yeah.
I paid the gas. I did it. I also had to make sure that my smart contract worked, and it does. I had to make sure that I could spend money into it and also withdraw it and put it somewhere else. So
as soon as we have 2 minutes, I want you to talk about how you where you got your inspiration for that. Yep.
Huge, gigantic thanks and shout out to Scaffold.ETH, Austin Griffith and team. Austin Griffith is sort of the face for me, but I know there's more people that are in behind this. Build Guild, I think is what they call themselves. The support that exists there is amazing. Had this tool existed 2 years ago, I would be a Solidity developer right now. I guess I can kind of call myself that because I just deployed a smart contract and it's actually going to happen. So I'm going to put that hat on. So it's been an awesome experience using their platform to teach myself Solidity smart contracts. And actually I learned a lot of React.js as well, which I had very little of that experience at all. I have 1 minute, but I do want to say, I started this project 2 or 3 months ago. I don't know. It felt like a long time ago. It might have been less than that, but drawing these robots was like, if I draw all these robots and do all this work, I'll have this guilt inside me that will force me to learn how to make this mint store page, and it will make me learn Solidity. So that's why I did this. I started drawing, and once they were all there, I was like, now I have to do something with this. Work I can't just walk away from. It's like being halfway through a college degree and giving up. I have to, that's so much stuff I did. I had to keep going. And by the way, I did do that once. All right, so I got like 30 seconds, and okay, yeah.
I'm only focused on.
I'm sure this site will get the internet hug I just paid for the domain. I paid for, I didn't pay for the cheapest. So it should be able to handle some traffic, but we'll see. I got 5 seconds. I'm gonna go ahead and click this button. All right. There it is. The link is a yellow button that says LogicBots right under the picture. And I didn't remove the burner wallet from the Scaffold.ETH, so just go make sure you connect your wallet, else it'll just tell you that the transaction will fail. So connect your wallet.
So I don't have a link showing up. Am I doing it wrong? Is it not loaded?
I also do not see that link showing up.
Interesting. Well, you and everybody else. So LogicBeach.xyz, it should, I just reloaded the page and it is there. It's right under the picture.
I'm doing Control F5 and it's not loading. For me, anyway. I mean,
is it not loading at all, or is the button not there?
No. The original page is loading, but the link is not.
Okay. It definitely is there for me. Let me actually try something really quick.
It looks like I'm loading from a CDN, so maybe that's not refreshing upstream, or maybe it's cached too hard.
You're not wrong. I just tried to do it from a private tab and it did not show up, which is disconcerting. You know, I loaded the joke in my mind that it was a LogicBots launch, but
that's fine.
It's going to happen for everyone all at once. This is WordPress. I think that's the issue here.
As an alternative, don't do this before I'm ready to click, but you could also drop the link in the YouTube chat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about that as a failsafe. I assume that's probably fair. I assume if anyone's actually connected to this, they're probably in there.
Well, to be honest, there are probably people who are not viewing the YouTube stream who still are interested and are wondering why it hasn't loaded.
Exactly. Let me just try one more thing. Just try one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually just gonna drop something in here real quick. Sorry about this.
You're fine. No, it's great.
I figured if this went too perfect, it wouldn't be my first contract deployment. So
I'm glad we're doing it on a call. Like it's public, and I know it's probably a little stressful for you, but it's great to just have this cataloged for reference.
Yeah. I am gonna try to update that page one other way, and if that fails, I'll just go ahead and drop it in the YouTube chat.
And hopefully that will work, because Dipsy asked if it's WordPress have you externally published. I don't use WordPress, so
I use WordPress as of yesterday.
Michael's a WordPress genius too.
Yeah, I'm trying to remain neutral right here. So way too much of a.
Oh, I know what you're doing. Are you F5ing? Are you?
Am I? Yeah.
No secret.
I'm a big WordPress advocate.
It was sort of a learning curve for me. So I just tried to update it a different way. It just should be a link. Okay.
This adds to the character of the fun.
Yeah. So actually, one of the main reasons I decided that I wanted to have an Opensea store is a fail-safe. So yeah, it definitely makes it more inclusive to more people, just in case something crazy happened and the smart contract was just broken or stupid. Should I share it in the chat?
I would say if you share it in the chat, try to share it on Twitter at the same time.
Fast as I can. Okay.
And probably do that with the same acknowledgement, like after you're kind of certain it's not going to spontaneously refresh. Because the fairest launch we can do really would be this page updating.
Yeah, I know.
5 minutes afterwards, people are going to stop F5ing and they're just going to be like, "Ah, it didn't work," which is fine. No big deal.
Yeah. I'm blaming WordPress at this point. I don't know.
It's still working fine. I still believe everything's going to work out well. Why don't you just go ahead and publish the link in YouTube and then send it to Twitter, and we can unleash the hounds. Being myself, I'm going to zone out while I attempt to snag one.
All right, let me.
And also recognize that YouTube doesn't always allow links this way you think it might. So we'll work on it.
If it doesn't display, I'll just have Logic send it to me, and as the admin, I can push it through.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to try to post it on YouTube, but I need to queue it up in Twitter at the same time because I want it to be like a united front.
Yeah, that's great.
I assume that it will update on the main page, but it might be a minute, or I don't know. I don't want to wait for it. So here we go.
Someone asked about the POAP. The POAP claim word for the app is on the wall behind Logic Beach.
LogicBots love you. All right. Tweet. YouTube. So that's the link. Just posted in YouTube and Twitter. And
did not show up on YouTube.
Should I break it up somehow?
Send it to me in the Zoom chat, and I'll publish it. Please and thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is definitely something I've never done before when it comes to a WordPress page updating right as you need it to. So I'm not surprised that there is a hiccup, but everything is good.
And I'm getting that insufficient gas for price plus value. We had talked about that before.
Do you have very near 0.25 in that wallet?
Oh, do you know what? It's because I have to connect to the MetaMask version of that wallet, and I was not connected to that.
I see. The error message for insufficient funds will tell you that there's like some sort of inefficient or gas estimation error. That's something that Scaffold.ETH, we talked about it in the Telegram.
Yeah.
The link is in the Zoom chat now.
You mean the YouTube chat?
Yes. Sorry, I don't know what I said.
Yeah. And so I had a bunch of friends get together and IPFS pin these pictures. So after they've been pinned, they may load a little bit slowly, but they are all impervious. They're going to be online forever because they're all based on IPFS.
And again, I got a transaction failed after it processed, but maybe that's just me. Hopefully it will work out still. Oh, because it was already owned. It was already bought. The one I tried to get. Yeah. Now I'm just clicking wildly, hoping that I can get one. As I said, I did, Michael and I did get dibs on one, but we got dibs on ones from Opensea, not from this page. This page is all in the wild. So
I do want to also mention that the actual mint page, if it just shows you like a gray bar at first, it just loading a lot. So it will get there.
Yeah, these are all getting scooped up real fast. Nice.
Yeah, actually, I think, how many were there?
20, right? On the
so there was 19 left in there because I had to buy one as a test. I wanted to make sure my smart contract worked on live, and I wanted to as my profile picture. So
I'm only seeing a gray bar now.
From what I can tell, they are definitely getting scooped up very quickly, and now I think it's getting the internet hug. When I asked the people in the Telegram for Scaffold.ETH, I said, hey, is the search.sh domain, is that going to be able to handle this? Like, is that good for?
And Austin's like, oh yeah, wasn't it?
No, my favorite response was, why not? And I said, good point. That's it.
So I do see 1, 2, 3, 4. Are those mine? Husker, Rock the Bells, Whack-A-Row, Logic Beach. Yep, you're the first one. So there have been 15 transfers, which means there are still 5 that haven't been picked up, but it does look like it's not fully loading.
I imagine it's the hug, and
yeah,
I'm learning a lot right now. Just so you know, like I'm definitely seeing like, hey,
18, dude. I got one. That's all I care about. Sorry, a little excited there.
You must have get my beer everywhere. I mean my NFT. I gotta say, the response and all of the support that this community has showed me, just I feel like a physical warmth that can emanate only from an internet community that is so full of virtuous and like awesome people. It's been so crazy. Like seriously, me and Superfizz were talking about this might have been on Tuesday. It's like, when are you going to launch this? When are we doing this? Saturday or something? I was like, yeah, let's do it Saturday. When I said that, the weight of those words was light out of my mouth, but the last 72 hours.
I'm glad it was quick. Yeah. Hey, can you, Michael? I posted the transfers page. Can we show that? That shows kind of who snagged them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy that it looks like a lot of varied people were able to get these as opposed to like one address.
I'm just glad Dipsy got one, because he's making threats in a Discord channel about what he was going to do if he didn't get one. So Paul Wackerell got one. Great job. And so Paul was apparently like super speedy. I also recognized Dipsy. Rock the Bells got 2. And then some non-ENS names. Jared.eth is a guy I know. Congratulations, Jared. So yeah, for a bunch of guys who aren't really sure how to do this, Jared got 2. That stinker. And so now I think it might be great to switch to the Opensea page. And before we start talking about accepting bids, can you tell us the relationship? Because it just takes a minute to figure out the difference between 1 and A.
Okay, it's definitely a Futurama reference, which is, I love Futurama. It's my comfort show. I watch it to sleep a lot. There's an episode where there's an alternate universe that they go into a box, and they were like trying to figure out the names between it. I'm just giving you the background, but then I'll describe why it's that way. They were like, we'll be universe 1 and you'll be 2. They were like, no, why? I don't feel like a B, or I'm not 2. This will be universe A, this will be universe 1. I think that's what they settle on. Fry wants it to be the Fighting Mongooses or something dumb. So in my mind, when I was creating this smart contract and I realized the release was Saturday, I was like, what if the smart contract can't happen by Saturday? And we need a backup sort of, but also it was I felt like an inventive way that I could make it 20 on an NFT drop is very exclusive, almost too exclusive to as many people that might want to support my mission and the Logic Beach mission. So I figured it'd be really cool to make the alternate reality versions of these guys and have a tried and true mint over on Opensea. I hope that makes sense. It made sense in my mind.
Well, the thing that I like about it, again, I can't say enough good things about Scaffold.eth. I believe it's really Scaffold.eth.
Yeah, you're right.
But I think I might have said Scaffold. In my mind, it's because I think of ENS, I think of Scaffold.eth. But Scaffold.eth is really the platform that let you take your art and essentially package it as a home-built NFT store. What was your experience with that? Is it something you think most people could do? Was it overwhelming?
I think anybody that has enough drive to do it can do it. But at the same time, when I first started to like learn Solidity and get really involved in like development on Ethereum, there wasn't anything like that. So I definitely, yes, what you said, yes. Scaffold.eth takes the friction, like 90% of the friction out of learning something like this. And they're like, hey, we did this awesome thing that you can build on top of without having to worry about the nuts and bolts, that you can figure out which actually it's kind of funny, when I was working through all this with Scaffold.ETH, it sort of, I don't know if they meant to do it like this, but I made myself learn those things because I wanted to know what was happening in the background. Like, what am I doing right now? It works, but why? You know, I'm an inquisitive mind. I wanted to piece it together. I didn't just want to use a tool. I wanted to know the tool. And so, yeah, Scaffold.ETH is an amazing tool for some. Okay. And I'll give you a background on me. I'm not somebody that can usually program or develop creatively from my own mind. Having something and examples, they have tons of examples that if you go through them, you will start to be like, okay, I am actually learning something. When I look at this stuff, I understand what it means. It's an amazing tool. I guess I should add that I'm also taking a class right now on object-oriented programming. So when I went and started to look at all this stuff on Solidity, I started to be able to make connections because C# is object-oriented, so is Solidity.
And that's sort of the thing that I want to get across to people who maybe are techie or maybe have basic programming skills, but haven't really interacted with Web3. I actually just met with Austin Griffith the other day, and he did a quick dive into Web3 with me into Scaffold, because I have basic programming skills, but as long as I've been involved with Ethereum, I've never really done smart contract work. And I was just amazed at how welcoming the platform was, and how I don't, easy is not the right way, but intuitive is probably the right word. So that I feel confident that anybody who wanted to learn how to interact with Web3, getting involved with Scaffold.ETH, and that whole kind of universe, the Build Guild, the Moonshot Collective, like, if you don't know what those words are, look them up. They're really just communities of people who are learning together and building things, and they benefit the whole ecosystem. So I think now is probably a great time. Maybe give this run the call about 10 more minutes. If we can, maybe Michael will share your screen and we'll talk about some of these individually as you accept a few bids now, and then we'll plan to wrap them all up by the into the call. Sure.
I'm just blown away, you guys. The support and the love that I'm feeling right now is insane. So a lot of cool things are going to happen.
I don't know if it's the art, because I certainly love the art, or if it is people who are willing to support your work as a public good. But definitely the combination of those two things is really valuable for all of us.
This is what we wanted, this page.
Yeah, I think that's great. And so kind of what I had in mind is while you're scrolling through, LogicBeach can sort of pick and say, why don't we sort by highest bids, maybe?
I'm looking at your shared screen. Actually, hold on. Let me put my Zoom window next to my Opensea window. Superfizz, do you think it would be cool to announce like what I plan on doing to the like one very short thing that I definitely had in mind for this contest? And well, I think some of that secret sort of leaked. I didn't mean for it to in the beginning, because I realized later I wanted to hide that fact until later.
The only thing I'm going to encourage you not to do is don't advertise something you haven't created yet or done yet, because then it puts you on the hook for something that just gives you more stress. So if you've already done it, if you're already locked in, by all means.
Okay, so here's what's going to happen. I'm not going to tell anybody until after, because I don't want to do it in the live stream. I want to do it later, and I want to surprise these people. It'll be fun, and I'd love to have a report or a Discord about it in public, because I think that would be fun.
Hey, you should pump your Discord.
Oh yeah, that's right. I have a Discord. I could share the link even. It's just LogicBeach, one word, capital L, capital B, no spaces. But I'll share a invite. I post all of the stuff that make the world a better place.eth does there, and anytime I come up with a puzzle or something useful that the community can do, or that something that will, you know, be good for everybody, I try to at everyone there. So I don't do it too much. Maybe once every few weeks I'll at everyone, so it won't blow up your Discord.
Yeah, it's really quality content. I know he does a lot of coordination for POAP canvases. We haven't really mentioned that, but Logic Beach is kind of the semi-formally informal POAP Canvas coordinator. He does a really great job with that.
I used that. I talked about that role in a job interview, and it was actually a lot of fun to talk about because that was something that it's a fun hat to wear. It really is. It really is awesome to see that kind of stuff happen. Oh, and I was looking so much forward to the rocket pool canvas. It will happen. It's going to be a little while until they're done, but that canvas is going to be the best one I've done or like helped coordinate so far. I almost said I've done, man. The community is what drives all of this. You guys, you make it happen. All right. So as far as the Opensea goes,
Logic, can you do me a favor and send me a link to your Discord in Zoom so I can put it in YouTube? I got a couple of people asking for it.
My Discord, I just posted on the YouTube live chat, didn't I?
It's not going to go through because of how it's set up. So it's only going to show links if I do it.
Understood. One moment here while I find the chat. Here you go.
Thank you, sir.
That's not a permanent one. I think it's like a 7-day link, but this is a call, so anybody here can join. I should actually get one that actually says Logic Beach. I just had it's low on the priorities right now.
There we go.
Right, so I am going to go over to Opensea and start accepting bids, asks, offers. These aren't auctions. Yes. I did 3. I leaked them as auctions for my closest followers, and that was actually really fun. But just anything that I see right now, I
didn't know it was your closest follower. I just saw an auction, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm bidding.
All right. Wait a minute. All right, I'm going down the list and actually, I don't even think I own this one. No, I do not. I think I need to set where I actually am the one that owns them as well.
Is this the only one with the ETH in it?
What are you saying?
With is this the only image with an Ether symbol in it?
Yes. If you're talking about Marvin something.
Marvin-09, 0.9, yeah.
He says, what does he say? Crystalline structure, index of refraction 1.4. What could it be? Like he found this object.
Now you've gone a little too far, buddy.
I feel like we need
index of refraction of 1.4 is pretty. So glass has an index of refraction of something like 1.1 or 2. It just means like when light enters it, how much does it bend? There's a ratio, and that's what that number means. I don't want to tote that hat, but I will. I got my degree in physics, and when I was in college, I met Hank and got connected with the whole crypto universe. And it's kind of funny where I find myself 3 years on, like I'm not doing anything with physics. I spent 6 years on that degree, and I was able to take a leap of faith into just working in the Ethereum ecosystem. And even before this, it's blown my mind at how much you have to be obsessed. And I'm obsessed. When you're obsessed with something like Ethereum, it will support you.
Yeah.
My family sometimes asks, like, how do I do what you're doing? And I'm like, you'd have to be as obsessed as I am.
You have to be. I have the same issue. Like, you and I talk pretty frequently, but people are like, I want a job in crypto. What do I do? And I'm like, number one, be obsessed. I'm like, well, I don't want to be obsessed. I just want to make money. And I'm like, well, you're not going to make it. I'm sorry. Well, let's talk some other time. And they're like, well, I see all these people and they're doing so well. And I'm like, they're not even aware of their success. They're just obsessing over the things that they obsess about. And they're not even counting pennies. They're just doing what they love. And if you can make it what you love, you'll do fine.
Exactly. Yeah, it's definitely a love relationship. I don't hate Ethereum in any way. I'm accepting these bids, but I do want to mention that Opensea, and for some reason with my wallet, it will say it's going and going and going, and it makes me think that it hasn't gone through. But when I check Etherscan, it's already done.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I've already got mine, so we're straight.
Beautiful.
I'm funny because like you guys know, like I really like anti-greed, but there are some things that just obsess me, and I'm like, I have to have Logic Beach's NFT no matter what. So I think we may. You're accepting bids. It's the asynchronous is not really the easiest thing. So I think we'll start wrapping up. I had asked you this question earlier. Do the LogicBots series 21? Do you know I actually tried to find the domain and I was like, I can't find. I was
Okay, I know what question
guessing.
you're going to ask. Does the LogicBots Universe A exist on Opensea right now, as like with a name and stuff? And there's a reason that they don't, because if I added that to Opensea under my account, you guys would suddenly be able to mint those. Because the only way that I could have programmed this in Solidity, but this close to launch, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it the easy way and not focus too much on the nitty gritty details. So if had I posted that there, someone in the Rocket Pool Discord actually asked, was this a test? Because someone found my Dawn bot and they're like, hey, it's a fake. That means this is a good NFT launch. Somebody's trying to fake it. And someone said, wait, Logic Beach owns that. Was this a test? And I was like, yeah, that was a test. That was the real contract. It just doesn't have a name yet because I didn't want people to like go mint them all before this call. So yeah, I'm gonna do that like right after this.
Great. So accepting bids and adding those as a contract to Opensea, right?
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny how yeah, this had to happen now, and I was like, I do not want to figure out how to set a timer on Solidity because then I'll have to like test it a ton, and there's like 2 days left.
Well, Solidity can't do timing because it's block dependent.
Yeah, and there's
right
no way
now.
to on that right.
But in the future, when we merge and Ethereum becomes proof of stake only, block times will be predictable. Is empty the whole time? You're faking us out?
It was fake. It was never T.
Hey, I noticed this is LogicBots 2021. Is that to me that's a tease? Is it?
It's an allusion to some fun things that are yet to come.
Okay.
That's right. Like you mentioned before, I'm not gonna say too much, but good things are in store.
Good. Well, so no, I totally appreciate when you end up being so excited about something that you make promises. You put yourself in a corner where you can't do what you want because you're stuck doing what you promised. So I appreciate that you are reserving that.
I also want to mention that I may sort of go dark for like a week, and that's not because I took your ETH and ran. It's because I am very behind on a lot of stuff because of this project. I have homework. I have a life, I think. So I might go dark for a little while I just catch up on everything else. Yeah.
I mean, the fairness is you're not an employee. Nobody owns you. People own art now. So, hey, you know what? Have we said congratulations? It worked. Like, you did it. So you can take a big sigh of relief. Things went well. A little hiccup never hurt. Shout out to Austin Griffith.
Yeah, I wonder if the page updated. I'll look at it later. And if not, I'll learn better ways to do this in the future. And I'm sorry, anybody that has an offer on Opensea right now. I'm trying to keep up with talking and do it at the same time, but I'm
no rush. Yeah. I think we're about to zip it up. It's been about an hour, and you know, good things aren't always perfect, but it went extremely well. Congratulations on selling 39 of your masterful artworks. I can't wait to see what's next. So, Michael, as always, I am deeply in debt to you for your engineering skill, your calm, cool demeanor, and everything else you bring. If anybody didn't get the POAP, you can use your mobile POAP app to enter the secret phrase LogicBots loves you.
Yeah, right there. Right in the background there. I don't know if the purple light washes it out. I was hoping that would.
I can see it.
Blow it out there.
Jamin, thanks for sharing this with us. It was a blast. I'm glad it worked out.
My real name's Jamin. He said it first time.
You said mine first. I was just tit for tatting. I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing. All right. Thanks, guys.
I love you guys. Everyone, thank you. Good things to come.
Bye-bye.
Okay, stream is down.
Hell yeah.